Bit of jokes. Look at a teenager, not sure which way to go with his hair. He's going a bit punk.
Yeah. Well, he's got a very patchy beard. Very patchy beard. He's a teenager.
You heard anything? I haven't. Welcome to a very sunny day here in the middle African bush, and look at that 1,000-yard stare of a young male lion. My name is Brent Leo Smith, and I've got my good friend Brian Joubert and his bearded wonder thumb on camera with me today. Now, sometimes Brent and Brian, when they're together, they are known as the Killer Bees. Now, we're hoping our Killer Bee magic works wonders for you today. Now, we've got a young male lion here, lying here. There's the rest of the pride just behind us, and we saw some warthogs. Now, you never know what's going to happen. We're 100% live in the African bush. Those warthogs might meander towards those sleeping lions, or the lions could sleep and the warthogs could meander past. We don't know what's going to happen. That's the wonderful thing about being live. And remember, if you want to get hold of us, ask us any questions about these magnificent creatures. Use the hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. Let's go have a closer look at this lion. So there he is. You can see he's a young male. He's just over 2 years old, and the reason I know this is just by, he's a tired male as well. It's very hot today, and just under 100 Fahrenheit, 95. Now you can see his mane hasn't developed into a wonderfully long flowing mane just like mine yet. And you can see he's almost got a mohawk. There we go. He's going to show it to you. Like most teenagers, which that's what he is in the lion world, he hasn't quite decided which style he's going to go with. Of course, I'm just joking. So he's still reliant quite heavily on his mom and his pride. So when he gets to about 3 years old is when he'll be pushed off. Now, he is a member of the Tsalala Pride. Now, this is a pride of lions I've been lucky enough to spend many hours with over the last 10 years. So they don't normally come up into our traverse area, so it's always a really big treat to see this particular pride of lions. I spent a lot of time with them about 10 years ago, so I actually knew his grandmother. So, and it's a very fascinating story about these lions, which I'm going to go into in a bit more depth as we sit here this afternoon. As you can see, he's found a nice shady spot, and he's trying to chase some flies away, and he's right on the edge of a nice big open area, which is actually an airstrip where people on safari would land to come visit this African wonderland. And not too far away, he's got a lovely, well, for us not so lovely, but for him incredibly lovely mud puddle that he's been drinking out of. You can just make it through the trees. There we go. You can see the water there, and so he's got everything he needs at the moment. And we can also have a look. He's got quite a nice big belly, so he's not too hungry. But we've got a special welcome to the Nat.Geo crew sitting in the fishbowl. Absolutely amazing. Oh, he's up. Sorry, Nat.Geo, we're going to stick with the lion. Oh, he's seen something. What's he seen? That's what happens when it's live. You never know what's going to happen next. Oh, whatever's happened, he's slowed down. But it's unusual to see an awesome animal like this moving in this 95-degree heat. He's probably heading back towards where the rest of the pride are, sleeping in the shade. I can see some heads. Well, let's stick with him while he moves. So he looks like he's heading back towards the rest of the pride. And as I said, quite often in this heat, it's very unusual to see them. While we do that, let's go meet Steph, who's a very brave man wandering about on foot. Now, this is what I mean. It's completely live. We did not know this lion was here. We were sitting with the other three, and all of a sudden, another young male, one of the brothers of the one we've seen, has just arrived. Now, I'm really hoping his famous lioness, and she's missing her tail completely. Now, as he walks, we're going to see that there is a game drive vehicle there. We're going to just try to go around them. So there are people out here enjoying the safari, but they've got to sit in the 95-degree weather. You get to enjoy it from the comfort of your home. This is the world's largest game drive vehicle. Safari Live on Twitter if you want to ask us any questions about these incredible animals. Here we go. Look at that. As he's having a good drink there. A big welcome to Jeff in DC, who's watching this live. And Jeff would like to know, how old are lions before they leave their mothers and natal pride? Well, Jeff, there's never any set rules out in the African bush. It completely depends on the individual and the circumstances. Normally between 2.5 and 3 years old, although we've been lucky enough to witness a young male who hung around till he was about 3.5, nearly 4. So every circumstance is different. Every pride dynamic is different. And one of the easiest ways to get in trouble into the bush is to work in definite facts, because the bush teaches you that, well, we wrote the books, the lions didn't read them, so they don't have to listen to them. You can see there that mane is starting to develop. He's only going to really have a full mane by the time he's 6 years old. Now, male lions will only challenge for territory when they are 6 years old, or 5 to 6 years old, and till then they spend that 3-year period after they leave mom and their natal pride and before taking over their own area as nomadic males, and they can move as far as 100 miles away from their natal territory. So what happens, they become nomadic, they move into an area, they get chased by the next set of male lions and get then chased by the next set of male lions, and this is lions' way of making sure they don't inbreed. So by being chased away from their parents' area, it's a way to make sure that inbreeding doesn't occur. Now, it is absolutely sweltering, and we are incredibly lucky. It's not that often that we see lions moving around in 95-degree weather. So it's absolutely scorching out here today. Now, the reason I'm choosing to follow him, because I know there's a lioness and 2 young males there, but I really want to see the tailless lioness. Now, I knew her as a cub, so she's just over 10 years old, and her mother, strange enough, also didn't have a tail, and the odds of her and her mother not having tails are so minuscule that I really would love to catch up with this pride, who we don't get to spend too much time with. Now, Mr. Lion, watch out for aeroplanes, because, as I said, this is an airstrip, and fortunately there's no planes scheduled at the moment. But we are about to go off into a break, and I wonder if these lions have a kill somewhere close by. And if they do, I can see the other lions also getting up in the distance. Don't go anywhere. Come back, grab a cup of coffee quickly, because we could be on our way to see a live lion kill here in the middle of the African bush. Guys, and now of course all our wonderful regular viewers are with us. Brian, since we are in an advertisements break, what are we selling today? There we go. The thumb needs toothpaste. The toothpaste knows the best thumb. I mean, the wood and ash ingredients. Come to the thumb for all your toothpaste needs. Okay, so isn't this lovely? We don't get to see the Tsalala Pride very often. And this young male is now heading off there. We're not going to drive across the airstrip. That's a very silly thing to do with lots of aeroplanes and whatnot about. I'm just trying to go see a little bit further if there's any other, that tailless lioness is lying in the shadows somewhere. Or in the shade. Can you see anything, Brian? Not currently. Now, it did look like the other lions get up on the move. This is not normal behavior. Normally we are Where is he going? Where is he going? Now, some of the other lions are up on the move. decision time, Ryan. Which one's... Oh, is he laying down? Well, let's go to the rest of the pride then. I wonder where the tailless female is. Stations, there's one young male lion mobile to the north. Oh, it looks like the lioness is coming for a drink. Station, are you copying me? Look at this. She's going to drink right opposite us. This is going to be exquisite. One single lioness is now at Buff Pan drinking. Okay, isn't this incredible? And we're going to stick with the Tsalalas, see if they don't have a kill somewhere and are moving back towards it. While we do that, let's go see how Commander Bond is doing in the tent. And the Tsalalas are really treating us there. It's so hot that they're getting up and moving every couple of minutes. Now, the one young male's just disappeared off, and he's not far away. I was hoping he was going towards the tailless lioness, but he isn't. He's just lying under a guarri bush. So we're going to stick with these, and I can't understand. They seem to be up and down. They're quite distracted. It could be because they might have heard the Birmingham's roaring. It could be that the Matimbas are giving them problems from the south. You never know what's going to happen next, even on a swelteringly warm day like this. I think these boys are going to be absolutely magnificent when they're older. I think, if I remember correctly, they are Majingalan progeny. Oh, he's tired. Okay, let's just move a little bit further forward. And for once, the lions are being quite kind to us, and they've chosen a big enough patch of shade for us to reside in as well. Oh, what's he? Has he spotted something? Can't see anything behind us. There were some warthog around earlier. I think his head's just up because he's hot. Okay, we're about to jump back on board with the TV audience, but it's always good to have all of you with us all the time. Welcome back, everyone. We do apologize. We've been having some comms issues, but we are live in the middle of Africa, so sometimes that does happen, but it's all sorted, and I'm so ecstatic to be back with you. Now, we're still with these lions. I was telling you about that young male that was moving off. I was hoping he was going to find the oldest lioness than Tsalala Pride, the one who hasn't got a tail. Unfortunately, he didn't. He just flopped down and went to snooze under a bush. So we came back to these three, and they've got up and moved. Now, it's very interesting. As I said, it's unusual for lions to be too mobile in this 95-degree heat. They normally snooze constantly. Now, this pride is in a bit of flux at the moment. There's a big coalition of males called the Birmingham Boys to the north, and they're under pressure from another coalition of lions to the south called the Matimbas. So they're sort of trying to avoid all the male lions. Now, the reason the lionesses will keep moving these young males away is because at this age, these young males are still very vulnerable to a big dominant male lion. So she's trying to give them the best start in life. And oh, there we go, a sneezing lion. Oh, see, oh, she's going to stretch. See, look how supple her back is. Now, of course, they have to be incredibly supple while they hunt. Now, interestingly, she's up and she's heading in the same direction that that other young male did earlier. And I really hope that they're going to lead us back to the tailless lioness, or perhaps they even have a carcass, a kill. She's got a nice wobbly fat belly, which means she's eaten 24 hours. Now, I wonder if they just haven't moved from where that kill is to come enjoy a drink at the little water hole, or pan as we call it out here. And it's just so hot, they're sort of moving back towards the carcass in relays, taking their time. Now, remember, this is 100% live, and you can ask us questions using the hashtag Safari Live. Now, the reason I say they might be moving in relays is because it is so warm, and when it is that hot, if a lion's core body temperature raises by just a few degrees, it can threaten their lives. Oh, Brian, look here quickly. Watch this young male next to us. Now, look at this young male. You can see, oh, now he's dropped his eyes now, but wait, just watch. We're just going to watch his eyes for a second. Now, this is a very interesting little behavior. Look there, look how he looks up. You see that? Now, that's something all the big cats do out here. And particularly lions are very, very conscious of it, and I'm going to show you why now. So, in a lot of areas, lions actually scavenge from other predators. Look, he's looking up again, he's looking above us. And there we go, look at that, how he's looking. And there's vultures. Now, we're going to keep an eye on these vultures. They could be dropping down to where a carcass is. So lions, because they do scavenge quite a lot, keeping an eye out, seeing if those vultures start dropping towards the ground, and then they might even get up and follow. Now, those vultures could be heading towards where these lions have made a kill. Now, isn't that fascinating? You just see how he just picks up that movement in the sky. And as Brian comes out wide, you'll actually see what a small dot that is in the sky that lion spotted. Isn't that absolutely incredible? Now, I'm half convinced they must have a carcass where those vultures are flying towards. And Daniel was wondering, actually, what is the survival rate of young male lions out in the bush? Wow, Daniel, that's an excellent question. And again, it very much depends on where you are in the African bush. In the Sabi Sands, young male lions up to about a year old only have a survival rate of around 30%, and then in that 3-year sort of period while they try establish themselves as males outside of their natal range, they have a survival rate again of 50%. So it's really tough to be a male lion and get all the way to the top. And one of those things, male lions only spend about 4 or 5 years at the top before they're pushed out. And during those 4 or 5 years, they are absolutely magnificent. Now, it's amazing. Wild lions, and these are 100% wild lions. We're not in a zoo. We are in the middle of the African bush, and we're showing this to you live. And as you can see, they're very habituated with vehicles. They've been seeing open safari vehicles since they were very young cubs, and they don't associate the vehicles with people. As long as you don't stand up and they don't see the bipedal figure of man, and a car smells like gas and oil and all sorts of things that don't smell too tasty, as long as you drive respectfully and carefully around these animals, you're able to have an incredible view into their lives, and we're able to follow them. Now, that lioness has disappeared off into the distance. I'm going to sit with these two boys. I am hoping that they are going to get up and follow, and maybe we're going to follow those vultures, and there could be a buffalo carcass, there could be a zebra carcass. We never know. That's the wonderful thing about being live. Now, someone else who's out there in the African bush tromping around in his size 11s is Steph. Let's go see. Well, wasn't that incredible, having a look at a bit of how the lion's family structure works? And we are lucky enough to spend almost every day with one of the big cats, and we learn something new about that cat, or in this particular case, lions, every day. And that is the wonderful thing about being 100% live in the African bush. You literally never know what's going to happen next. It's just so exciting, and I'm one of those very lucky people who gets to do what they absolutely love in life, and that's spend my time with the creatures of Africa. So here we go. Now, we're still with these two young males. So as you would have learned, they're about 2 years old, so they're not quite ready to depart their natal pride or their home pride yet. They're going to depart at about the age of 3, and then they will become nomadic for 2 to 3 years before they're big enough and old enough to challenge for their own pride. And you can see how heavily they're panting. It is 95 degrees Fahrenheit out here, and that is very hot for a lion. They do prefer the cooler times of the day, and luckily enough, in the next 45 minutes or so, it is going to get a bit cooler. So maybe they might start getting to move. Now, this particular pride is made up of 3 young males. We've seen all 3, and there's only 2 lying next to us now. The others moved off, and 2 adult females and 1 young female. Now, lion prides do get separated at time to time, and they do generally find each other after a while by contact calling to each other. And now I'm just going to give you an idea of how close we are. Oh, he's standing up. Now, there we go. Christy is wondering how close these lions are to us, and Brian's going to come a little bit wider. And oh, there we go, Christy. Sorry, that was my fault. We're just going to hold there. And Christy's wondering, what is it like to be this close to the lions? So here we go. Look, now there's the side of our vehicle. Christy, we are only about 7 foot from these lions, and it is an incredible experience. And look at that, and we get to see these lions in great detail. Now, he's got his mouth nice and wide and open now, so if we go in a little closer, you can see those massive canines. Now, those are what anchor the prey as he catches them. Now, you can see how he's salivating because of the heat. Now, the other lions got up and moved off towards where the others are, but we're going to stick with this guy because he's right next to us. And you see he's got some scratches on his nose, and most of those scratches will be fighting over food. There we go. He is in still very, very good condition. Big fat belly. He hasn't got too many nicks and scars like a big dominant male lion. And just look how heavily he's panting from the heat. But it's been so windy today, we've actually had a visitor who's just landed in the car, and it's a really pretty beetle. There we go, I hope he doesn't fly away again. And it's called, oh, there he goes, he flew onto me. He's attacking me, Brian. Here we go. I'm not going to move him so you can get to see. He's not dangerous, but he's very pretty, emerald green. Oh, he's going on my face now. He's called an elegant longhorn. There we go. This is quite funny. There we go. You can see emerald green with orange and black on the antenna. Oh dear, okay, you don't want to get in there. My microphone's in the hat, so this is going to be a bit interesting trying to remove him without hurting him, because we don't, oh, there we go, he fell off, fortunately. We don't like hurting animals out here. We love even the creepies and crawlies, so there he is. I'm going to hope he flies off safely, and it's amazing. That's why I said it's live, and you never know what's going to land on you while you're out here. And remember, hashtag Safari Live. If you've got questions about the lions or longhorn beetles, and we'll do our best to try answer them. Oh, there we go. Looks like he's about to take off. He opened his wings. Oh, he's just stretching. So, oh, there we go. Shame. Little guy. He probably didn't see us while he's flying into us. Now, the last lion is still next to us. The others are moving off. We're going to stick with the last one, and we're going to follow them as they get going. Now, Luciana in Washington, wonderful to have you with us on this live safari, Luciana. Now, Luciana is wondering, are all male lions part of the pride, or are they by themselves? Now, again, it's always dependent on where you are, Luciana. Now, the fascinating things about lions, in particular lions in this area, is that the lions here generally form male lion coalitions. So these three young males, when they get kicked out of this area, what will probably happen is that, as I said, they become nomadic. Now, quite often in this particular area, because we've got such a high density of lions, they'll meet up with some other young males and form a coalition. Now, if there's 5 of them or 4 of them, they've got a much better chance of taking over a pride of lions at a younger age. So strength in numbers. And then they will continue generally, after they've formed a coalition, to stay as a coalition till they are quite old and get booted out by the next coalition. Now, single male lions in this area are generally males that are unable to find a coalition when they become independent of their natal pride. Now, they have got a fascinating way of passing on their genetics. Obviously, as a single male, to attack a group of 4 or 5 males would be absolute suicide. So what they do is they sneak around the peripheries, and they can be very successful in spreading their genetics. They'll mate with lionesses without the main pride males knowing, and in certain parts of Africa, the science has proved that up to 50% of all the cubs born to the pride are from sneaky males who've come in, mated, and then avoided the big boys. And it all depends where you are in Africa, and there's no rock steadfast rule when it comes to these creatures, and they can prove you wrong every day. And that's one of the wonderful things about doing what we do, being able to witness all these incredible interactions. Now, we've got a question from Jeff Daniels in Washington, D.C. from the Nat.Geo offices, and he'd like to know, what's the craziest thing I've ever seen with lions? Now, Jeff, it's a bit of a story, but you asked for it, so you're going to have to get it. And it's a bit of an animated story as well. Now, I've worked in the African bush for most of my adult life, apart from one bad year where I decided to try work in the city. It didn't work out well. But it was probably about 13 years ago, and I was working inside the Kruger National Park in a private concession. And there was a very famous pride of lions there called the Mountain Pride, or the Mega Pride. Now, there were about 37 to 40 lions in that pride. And I was with my tracker, Glass Maramani, a Shangaan gentleman who we've walked and followed lions through the bush to try to take our guests to the best safari experience. What happened was we went through a little dry river bed, and we popped up, and as we do probably 4 or 5 times a week, we see a lion. Oh, lion. Now, there'd just been a massive fight between the males, and they were really, really hungry. There's 2 very special rules when it comes to walking big cats on foot. Noisy lion, safe lion. Dangerous lion is a quiet lion. So if a lion's growling and snarling, he's just telling you too close or go away. If he's coming quietly, he's intent. And these lions came from about 60 meters, so 110 yards or so. Now, take into fact, a lion runs 22 meters per second at full speed. So it does that in 3 seconds. My tracker starts shouting at me, shoot the lion, shoot the lion. And I shout, no, I don't want want to shoot any lions. I was like, throw rocks at them, throw rocks at them. So we literally stood there for about 20 minutes while the lions growled at us and whatnot, and we walked back to our vehicle, and I was completely calm till I had to put my rifle down, and then I just started shaking, and my tracker couldn't even climb into the car. But the last lion's on the move, so let's go follow him. Now, it looks like he's going to go for a drink, so I'm going to get around to the other side of him. While we do that, Jamie's got a feathered friend to show you. Look at that. With this oppressive heat, this young male lion has now made his way towards the muddy water hole close by, and he's quenching his thirst. And he looks quite comfortable doing it as well. You probably find the edge of the water where there's a bit of mud there is a little bit cooler than the surrounding sand, and the winds are still blowing very strongly. Look at those eyes. Now, I hope you guys are getting some fantastic screenshots of this Tsalala young male as he schlurps away. I really wonder where the tailless lioness is. Oh, he's such a beautiful little boy. He keeps looking down to the south. There were some warthogs around there a bit earlier. He's heading back towards, oh, that lioness seems to have come back. Let's get a bit closer. Now, it's always a treat to see the Tsalala Pride. We don't get to see them nearly as often as I would like, especially since it is one of the prides of lions outside of the Nkuhumas I've spent an inordinate amount of time with. Now, I hope you guys are ready. I'm going to try and get you quite an impressive sky behind this male lion. Wow, look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Temperature has dropped slightly, so they've moved out of that big shade, and the main reason for this, you can see they've moved right onto the airstrip. Fortunately, there are no flights about to come, but this particular pride actually used to spend a lot of time around airstrips. Now, the reason is you've got a nice clear area like this, and aha, potential prey species. Look at that, they're snorting. They're snorting. The impala are snorting. They've spotted the lions. Now, all the animals out here will snort when they see a predator. And in impala language, they're going, lion, lion, be careful, be careful. Oh, there we go. Unfortunately for these lions, they were spotted. But as I said, they look like they've got wonderful big bellies, and so they're not too perturbed about hunting just yet. Now, that could change if the opportunity arises. Now, they are opportunists, so if an animal happened to wander into them, they definitely would try hunt it. I don't know. It's unfortunate this wind is so strong, but it's just that those impala are making a. Now that's the noise. A little bit to the right. Oh, there we go. There's some ones walking close. There we go. Now often. There we go, look at that. You can see those two males have spotted the lions, and they're now telling all the other animals to be careful. There are lions around. Now, see that male on the far left, how alert he is. Look at that very alert stance. There we go. You can just see that head lift. It's so far away. I see his head lift and the sound only gets to me a second later. Isn't this incredible? This is 100% live. Now, lions don't have the best success rate when it comes to hunting. They only have about 10 to 15% success rate. And that's the way it is. If they had 100% success rate, there'd be no impala left. There'd be no buffalo left. Now, speaking of buffalo, I think Steph's found one that's retired. Well, here comes the third of the young males who we haven't seen yet. He's meandering back from his quarry bush excursions. You can hear the lapwings are not too happy about it. Arathusa airstrip. We've seen them around here quite a few times over the last couple of months. Oh, listen to that lapwing, very upset with the lions. Oh, is he going to dive bomb the lion? That would be fun. They might have a nest close here. Really not chuffed with the lions. Look at that, isn't that incredible? Oh, it is getting cooler. The boys are going to start playing now. Naughty teenagers with their punk hairdos. Listen to that, isn't that awesome? Oh, and back to snoozing. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? And the boys reunited. And the boys are reunited. I just need to chat on the Game Drive channel quickly. Standing by. Oh, look at that. Full of fun. Affirm. Oh, it's so nice to see the three brothers reunited. Now, I wonder... Oh, there's one lioness still lying behind us. I just wonder where the other tailless lioness is. I can hear the lapwings calling away. Not too happy to share their area with the big cats, but while we sit here with the Tsalala Pride, I'm hoping they're going to get moving soon. Let's go back to Jamie and Tingana. Well, they're definitely better looking, but probably not too much better smelling, since most lions wouldn't have a problem feeding off the most rotten of buffaloes if they came across it. Now, I just keep... Oh, look at this rolling over. And they haven't been too active apart from that little little bit of game that they had earlier. But there's a lioness who's lying a little bit further away. We're going to make our way towards her now. She seems to be very interested in something directly to the west of us. So let's go. While the boys are sleeping, there's also something very special I want to show you while we go towards that lioness. Remember, this is 100% live, so we can't script it. What's out here is out here. Now, unfortunately, no buffalo or zebra or impala have wandered in just yet. But there's one thing in Africa, and it's at this time of the day, we call it magic hour. And you can't really beat it, in my opinion, anywhere in the world. And the light gets soft, and special things start to happen. And as we've been talking about the drought, we've had such a massive drought. Look at that. Now, I know you call Montana big sky country, but I think us Africans out here, we've got some big sky country of our own. Now, there's clouds moving in. Hopefully, they'll bring more rain that could help with this drought. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? We are watching the sunset live in Africa. Now, I'm going to quickly go towards that lioness who looks like she's interested in something. While we do that, Commander Bond or James Henry in the tent has got something to show you.